All them dark days led to them bright nights. We play rough, grass stains on our clothes, we are not nice. It can rain fireballs, why the fuck you think that I got ice? If you hit the nigga with his head turned, nigga, they're not straight.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Cold and I'm back with another storytime video, bro. But before I get into any of the storytime stuff or anything like that, let me tell you guys, I know I haven't been completely consistent in the way I said I was going to be, but that's just because I had schoolwork to focus on since, you know, the midterms are coming up. But now that all of that is done, we right back on track. So let's get straight onto the video. So as you guys know, before I even start talking about my story times, I gotta give a little overview of the gameplay real quick. So basically, this gameplay was all in action. I'm not even gonna front, you know, like I wasn't really trying to go for this type of stuff, but it just happened by itself. I was really just focused on getting my SMG's diamonds, and all I did was 3-point banks, and then, you know, the game would have been done. But instead of just doing that, I ended up going 103 and 18 in the game and ended up winning the game too. And honestly, the guys on the other team were talking mad shit before this game even started, so, you know, I had to do a little something to prove to them, like, I'm really that guy. But let's get straight onto the class setup I was using in this game. So to start off with, I was using this SMG named the Bullfrog with the GRU suppressor as a muzzle, 7.4 task force as a barrel, Spetsnaz grip as an underbarrel, VDV 85 round fast mag as a magazine, and the GRU elastic wrap as a handle. Now that you guys got the attachments you need for the Bullfrog, let's get straight to the story time. Alright, so this story takes place in the good old elementary days. Honestly, some of the best things happened to me in elementary school. There was always something new to look forward to, something exciting that would happen day by day. Not to mention that the elementary school recesses would always be goated. There'd always be something to do, whether it's basketball, playing marbles. Back in the day, marbles was shit. If you had one of the biggest marbles there, yeah, I'm telling you right now, you'd be one of the most popular kids there. But that's besides the point. This whole story happened around in grade 4. During the recess time, I would always have a friend to play with, and the friend that I would usually play with is someone we'll give the name of Gumpy. Now, Gumpy was a cool person, you know, he was just like your average kid. He was short, chubby, black with curly hair. But one thing though is that he was always nervous with other kids. He wasn't like that around me, but I noticed that he was always like anxious or nervous around other people. So usually whenever recess would come around and he didn't have anyone to hang around with, I would just chill with him, right? We just fuck around, have the time of our life. It would get to a point where we'd hang out almost every single recess, and the more and more we hang out, the closer and closer we get. Soon enough that I would actually start to consider him one of my best friends at that school. From then on, our bond would become unbreakable. Anywhere I would go in that school, he would go in that school. Anywhere he would go in that school, I would go in that school. Even if he ended up arguing with someone, you know, I gotta ride out and argue with that person too. And same thing goes my way. If I argue with someone, he's arguing back with that person. Eventually, these habits of his would actually end up proving to me that he was actually one of my most loyal friends at that school. Until one day, this one day really messed everything up in our friendship. Like, I'm talking about the stick to our friendship was broken. I could never trust him ever again. And this day happened near the end of the school year, around like in May or April. So it was just a regular hot day, and this recess felt particularly boring compared to all the other recesses we had. Like, I'm talking about, we were just sitting down on the grass literally doing nothing. We didn't know what to do. We didn't feel like playing soccer. We didn't feel like playing basketball. We didn't even feel like playing with other kids, period. We just felt like there's nothing that we can possibly do to have fun, right? But me personally, I didn't have any problem with just chilling on the grass the entire recess, you know, because like we always do something every single day, so it's like I understand like there's nothing else we can really do to enjoy ourselves. So I was just chilling, laying back in the grass, enjoying the sun. And honestly, I was really just looking forward to go home, because I wasn't even trying to be at school anymore, so I was just trying to get everything done with, right? Wasn't really too occupied on what it was. I just wanted to go home. Well, Gumpy had totally different plans. Like, he wasn't cool with just laying on the ground the entire recess at all. And I'm talking about, like, it was obvious. I'd be laying down and all I'd be hearing at the side of my ears, ah, ah, ah. It started to get to a point where I really tried to ignore it the best I can, but like it really just became like annoying. So I was just like, what, Gumpy, you know, like what do you really want to do? If you can figure something out to do, then I'm down with it. So first Gumpy decides to play marbles with me, right? And after like 5 minutes of that shit just got boring. So I was like, alright, whatever, we're not doing this anymore. So the next thing he decides to do is play basketball, and you know, I whoop his ass. He doesn't even score, so he gets frustrated with it and he starts complaining, oh, I don't want to play basketball. So I'm like, alright, so you mentioned 2 things to do and you just don't like them, so what do you want to do next? So the next game he wanted to play was tag. So I was like, alright, you know, that's actually a good one. I'll get some friends and we can play. It's about to be lit. There's about to be a whole bunch of people in it, so you know, it really can't get boring. So he ends up telling me that he doesn't want to play with any friends. He just wants it to be us two. So in my head, I'm thinking, I'm like, how the hell are we supposed to play tag with just the two of us. But I'm usually open-minded to things, so I just said fuck it, you know, let's just play the shit and get it over with, right? So it was pretty obvious that Gumpy didn't really think things through, because 1, he is chubby and slow. 2, I was more active than he was, so anytime he got it, he was not able to catch me. So it just ended up getting to a point where he just got frustrated and he said, yo, I'm not doing this anymore, let's play something else. So I was like, yo, what can we really do? You just offered like 3 or 4 different things and you didn't want to do them anymore. Like, make up your mind and pick something. So the last thing he ended up choosing was wrestling. All he wanted to do the rest of the recess was play fight. And honestly, I love play fighting. You know, I'm a young kid. I was scrappy, so I was like, yeah, I'm down to do that. That's lit. I would love to beat this kid's ass just for the fun of it. So that's what we ended up doing. And honestly, we had the first few rounds, I underestimated him. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of got my ass beat the first, maybe like the first 3 or 2 rounds, because 1, I was a lot skinnier than he was. Like, when I say he's chubby, like, he was actually a bit, he had some weight to him, right? So I was getting pinned down and I just couldn't get back up because he would just lay on me there and die. So the competitive side of me had to take shit serious, right? So the next few rounds, I held nothing back against him. So the next few rounds, I just went all out, right? And he saw that, so he's tried to match my energy. And then I noticed that, so I tried to top his energy. So eventually, this more and more that, like, we noticed each other's energy, the rougher and rougher the play fighting would get, right? So it also get to a certain point where I started to get excited and I wasn't really paying attention to how much force I was inflicting in my hits. So this last punch, kick, or push that I threw at him, he ended up flying on the ground and he stayed there for like a good 1 to 2 minutes. And I originally thought he was joking, right? So I just started bursting out laughing at him until I just heard him crying. And I was like, bro, what the hell just happened? So I go to him and try telling him that I'm sorry, you know, I didn't mean to do it. And he automatically gets up and starts raging at me, trying to throw a whole bunch of punches, but you know, I'm bobbing and weaving that shit, so like he ain't touch me, right? And it got to a point where he just kept trying. I got annoyed, so I decided to push him on the ground, telling him to stop. And the moment I did that, he looked at me and he's like, oh, I'm telling my sister now. And the moment I heard those words, I felt my heart sink down to my stomach. I started to panic. I was like, no, it's alright. You don't have to do that here. You can hit me in my face, do whatever you want. Don't tell your sister though. And the reason I was saying those things, right, is because his sister was in like 2 or 3 grades higher than me. So whenever you're older than someone, you always have that status above the lower niggas, right? So I was shooketh. So Gumpy instantly gets up and tried running away, and you know, I had to chase him, right? Because I don't want him getting a hold of his sister, or else I knew it would have been raps for me. So I'm chasing him, and for some reason, he's a lot faster than he was when we were playing tag. Like, I don't know where the burst of speed came from, but like, this fat boy was running. Like, he had his whole butt crack showing and shit, looking all weird and shit. And I just couldn't catch up to him. So Gumpy finally found out where his sister was staying at during the recess. And when I saw him talking to his sister, I already knew it was over with me, right? So I slowly walk up to his sister and she stares at me and gives me the rudest cut eye, and I was scared as hell. She looks at me and she grabs me by my collar and she's like, so you've been bullying my brother? And I was like, no, I haven't. It was all a misunderstanding. And as soon as I said that, this girl slaps me across my face as hard as she can and tells me to shut up. And I'm telling you guys, everyone heard that slap because everyone that was in that recess spot was staring at me, right? So I'm there trying to hold back my tears and everything, because on the inside, I was crying like a bitch. But on the outside, I took that shit like a G. Like, I looked like that shit didn't really faze me. My eyes were probably red, but that's probably just because, like, you know, I got slapped. And then after that slap, she just started to lecture me about how she doesn't want to see me hanging around with her brother ever again. And then blase, and then that was the end of the story. But from then on, I had zero trust in Gumpy. Like, I did not trust that guy one bit. I didn't even fuck with him at all. He tried to talk to me like maybe a couple of days after that, but I had to let him know that I do not fuck with him. And the next time he tries to talk to me, I'm gonna have to slap the dog shit out of him, because I do not like that kid no more. And from that day on, I never hung out with him ever again. But that's all I got for the story time, guys. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And also, I'm going to be adding new content to the channel, such as Twitch, and I'm also investing into a camera so I can do more IRL videos with the boys and my girlfriend. So let me know if you guys want to see anything like that. But also, one more thing is, make sure you guys follow my Twitter. The link is going to be in the description down below. The reason why I'm telling you guys to follow my Twitter is because I'm going to be dropping notifications on when my videos are actually going to drop before I actually drop them. So that way you guys can be more active and tuned to the channel. So make sure you guys tap in on that. But anyways, guys, I'm gone. Bah!
Enemy spy plane inbound. Mission complete.
Back up. And they're both only three. Today is ours.
It's a cold world. All them dark days led to them bright nights. We play rough. Grass stains on our clothes. We are not nice. It can rain fireballs. Why the fuck you think that I got ice? If you hit the nigga with his head turned, nigga, they're not straight.